Hey, Dandy. Hey, Cat Boo. Hey, Harlem. Hey, Goofy. Sorry, Harlem. You were actually third, Harlem. Hey, Karen. Hey, Jimmy. I'm okay, Goofy. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Toast. Hey, Nessa. Hey, Lizzie. Hey, Steph. Hey, somewhat Steph. Two Stephs. Hey, Roxanne. Hey, Mark. What am I up to? I'm up to this. Yep, how is everybody? Hey, Houston. Hey, Chris. She is not. What is this? It's a game. It's a visual novel, Cat Boo. I'm playing a visual novel. Okay. It's been here before. Hold on a second. There we go. Hey, Exo. Roxanne, pretty much. And get a Steamy press more of it. I'm trying, Chris. I'm trying. I'm trying to, post on the regular. I don't know what that means, Chris. What's the name of this game? Our Life, Beginnings and Always. Lawn mowing simulator? Sounds fun. Hey, J Dot. Left side cargo shorts is nothing on right side. I think this is who this kid grows up to be. So this kid grows up to be this looker here. Hey, Nasa Jen. And no, Dandy, I will not be buying any makeup palettes. You saw it? Yeah, he does grow up to be a good-looking kid. Don't forget to ask, but I can only ask if they gave me the option, Jimmy. They never seem to give the option to ask about the cast. Nice to see you. I think he still has a... Looks to me like there's still a bit of a scar here, actually. Like, it might just be... Might just be the way the art is, but that looks to me like a scar. Yeah, I guess whatever happens to him, it leaves a permanent scar. Whatever happened to his art. Must have been cut up pretty bad. How's my day going? It's going okay, J Dot. You? Poor thing. Hey, Mama. Ooh, 51 viewers already. I never have 51 viewers for my gaming streams. Wow. Call of Duty? No Call of Duty. I'm not playing Call of Duty. I don't like those types of games. You're right, Graham. May as well get going. Am I sick? Not sick. I just ate, so I'm just, every time I eat, I sort of feel a need to clear my throat for like an hour afterwards. Alright, let's do library, because I like libraries. No, Dandy. Taco Bell? Nice. Skyrim? No. Skyrim is too open for me, JJ. Like, I think I tried one of the, Elder Scrolls games. I don't even remember which one. But they're too open for me. Should do ASMR? Maybe I'll consider it, Lizzie. Anyway. Every year, the Sunset Bird Memorial Library held a summer reading program. Your moms and Lizzie were big fans of it. Mom and Mommy because it encouraged reading, and Lizzie because she could win prizes. How's Chantal doing? She's at the hospital right now. She's having trouble breathing. Either asthma or anxiety. So she's still at the hospital right now. Fallout again is just too open world for me. Those types of super open world games, just choice paralysis. Yeah. Lizzie can win prizes. I never took part in any, like, reading competitions. I never took part in any of those things. When it came to what you thought of having to read a bunch of books and then going to the library with competitive Lizzie, I loved it. I like books. Each time had been one of the highlights of your summer. Sleep paralysis? No. No Elden Ring? No Elden Ring. But no, I never get sleep paralysis. Each time had been one of the highlights of your summer. Your mom still brought up the time when you'd shyly made her a thank you card for letting you participate. You and Lizzie went with Shiloh before, and this year you brought Cove, too. His dad had been so over the moon about Cove being included that he'd driven all four of you. You had never been in Cove's dad's car before. It seemed a lot shinier than your mom's. This is a shiny car. Oh, I'm sure she'll be fine, J-Dog. After herding the group inside, Mr. Holden gave you all a wide wave with the arm that has a stingray on it. So that's what that tattoo is, a stingray. That's a cool tattoo. I never noticed this tattoo. Like, I never really looked at this tattoo. That is a pretty cool, stylized stingray. He's fine, Jimmy. Hey, Ravishing. Have fun, kids. Stay inside of the librarians, you hear? I wish I could watch you in action, but your poor old dad has to finish up some work.
I got it.
Though I'm sure that won't get in the way. Heck, I'd probably hold you kids back. Hi, PK. There's pointedly no reply from his son over what was likely meant as only a joke. Cove's dad seems to deflate a bit. Oof. I'll swing around again when this shindig ends. Yeah, you can go home now. Dang, Cove! Cove just committing murder here. Cove with the patricide. Aw, you don't have to throw me at the door. Your sister, already in full competition mode, cut him off. For once, Cove looked grateful she was there. Cove chose violence. He absolutely did.
Come on!
We have to go find a table, Mr. Holden. You can talk to Cove after when we win. Lizzie, come on! Man! Poor Cove's dad is just getting massacred over here. Just an absolute murder rate. Shut up, JJ. Okay. See you in about an hour. Have fun. Did I say that already? My advanced stage is really catching up to me now.
Bye.
Bye, Dad. Bye, son. What did the Papa Buffalo say to his father? Or what did the Papa Buffalo say to his son? Bye, son. Probably, Diana. The four of you watched him shuffle out of the library, glancing over his shoulder at Cove more than once.
Bye.
Hi, Mr. Holden. Thank you for bringing us. Thanks, Lizzie. I don't know what you're thanking me for. Are you copying Shiloh? Distracted, Cove was already glancing around the gigantic library. I want to go explore. What? I said I want to go look around and see what's in here. But the quiz starts soon. That's why we came. Quiet at the first signs of conflict, Shiloh's eyes darted between Lizzie and Cove. I don't even know, J-Dot. I honestly don't even know. And you can do it without me, right? You don't need a bunch of people. Didn't your dad say to stay with the librarians? You shouldn't go somewhere by yourself. It's a library! Jeez, guys! It's a library! It's okay to just wander around the library. It's perfectly safe. Cove leveled an unimpressed stare at the both of them. Then his eyes met yours.
Hey!
Why are you looking at them? Jamie is with us. Jamie can come if they want to. Why are they at the library? Some sort of reading contest. The quiz sounds better. Sorry, Cove, but quiz. Quiz time. Lizzie's entire face lit up in a bright grin. Quizzes! Like, who doesn't like a non-school related quiz? In school, quizzes are awful. But, like, outside of school, when you're just, like, as something you're doing for fun? Okay, JJ, you can just go away, JJ. You shot her a small smile in return. But Cove, meanwhile, was making a face you couldn't read.
Okay.
I mean, sorry, Cove, but... Quiz, damn it! Quiz! Without another word, he turned and walked away on his own. And once Cove was gone, Lizzie's mind was immediately stuck on the quiz again.
All right.
Right, let's win this one!
All right.
I'll do my best! It took only a few minutes for your team to be set up with pencils and papers that had multiple choice questions to fill out. There were 10 normal ones and 2 bonus ones. You were glad everyone got their own paper. If groups had to share one, Lizzie would for sure write whatever she thought was best. From past experiences, you knew it wasn't worth it to try arguing with her about different answer ideas. You'll just have to pick what you think is best and leave Lizzie and Shiloh, who always agrees with her anyway, to choose their own things. First question. It wants to know what fruit was giant and shared a book title with a boy named James. Oh yeah. I should know this one, but you guys pick whatever you want. The starting answer you marked on the quiz was peach! James and the giant peach. Giant peach. You gave Lizzie a tiny nod once you'd finished writing. Alright, what's question 2, Shiloh? Come on, let's keep going. This one asks, which member of the Bucket family is the protagonist who wins the trip to Willy Wonka's factory? Charlie. Shiloh quietly repeated the big word to himself all in one go, maybe to make sure he got it right. Protagonist. That's the main character of the story.
Thank you.
Thanks, you're so smart, Lizzie. Hi. Good job, Lizzie. Good job educating the youth. So who is it? Charlie. Jamie, write Charlie. You looked at the paper and wrote. Yeah, Charlie. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? What the game's about? So you play a character who you name yourself. I named my character Jamie. Because that one has voicing for it. Like, people will say that name. I've never seen any Karate Kids. So yeah, my main character is called Jamie. You live in a nice little beachside town, and you befriend a kid named Cove. You're 8 years old and hanging out with Cove and your big sister Lizzie and your other friend Shiloh. And that's about it. Without even giving your answer, she glance over. Lizzie scanned the question guide and looked at the next one. Kissin' Kate Barlow was famous for one type of makeup. It wants to know which one it is. Nail polish, lipstick, blush. Blush? But isn't that not makeup? It's a normal thing.
You dumbo.
You can wear it on your face, too. It's powdery red stuff.
Oh?
I don't know this book. Who's gonna guess? Well, I'm not guessing. What was it? Kissing. I mean, I'm assuming. Like, Blush? Oh, it's Blush? I'll be honest, I would have assumed, lipstick. So it is Blush? Huh. Okay, well, I'll put Blush. I genuinely would have expected lipstick myself. Friend Holly got all better now? Oh, that's nice, J-Dot. Alright, that's a cool name she's got. With that settled, Shiloh took it upon himself to check the next question. Oh, I don't like this one. Who was the mean green man who terrorized? The green man that terrorized Whoville. It means he bullied them really badly and was terrible. You know everything. That was a little funny since Lizzie said she didn't know something just on the last question. Did you not hear that part? Shiloh could be kind of weird sometimes. Without even listening to her eager audience, Lizzie turned to you and pointed at one of the options.
Okay.
It was the Grinch. Pick that one. That's true. Whoville. What'd I get to? I had McDonald's, Kitty K. You marked down the Grinch as the bully who picked on Whoville. By the time you'd finished writing, your sister was already on to the next one. Which of these stories was not written by Hans Christian Andersen? One of these is The Little Mermaid. That's an ocean book. Cove is going to be sorry he didn't do the quiz. Yeah, I bet he wishes he didn't go out by himself. J-Dot, JJ has one last chance. If JJ is a douche again, yeah, JJ, if you are a douchebag again, then yeah, I'm just gonna block you. Last time I just gave you a timeout. That was a warning. So, careful or I will block you. He looks stoned out of his... Oh, he does! Shiloh does look stoned here. Since those two were focused on talking about Cove while he wasn't here, you decided to check for yourself what was written. Cinderella, I would assume. Or maybe not. Thumbelina, maybe? No, he definitely wrote Thumbelina. Little Mermaid, I'm pretty sure... No, he definitely wrote Thumbelina. And yeah, he definitely wrote Hans Christian Andersen. So, yeah. Alright, JJ doesn't care about being blocked, so fine. JJ is blocked. Cinderella. That was my thinking. I double-checked on... Yes, I am a cheater, Jimmy. I used Google. He definitely wrote Little Mermaid. He definitely wrote Thumbelina. So yeah, Cinderella. Cinderella was your choice. Okay, now what? It's question 6. We're so far. Hey, Athena. Yeah, we're making good time. The other groups are probably still on question 3. For this one, we just gotta answer. What's the name of the Darling family sister who flies with Peter Pan in the first book? Wendy! Wendy Darling. You know what's funny? I know this one from the webcomic Namesake. Joe sounds like Jojo. That's a good name. Your cat's name? Who would name their book character after your cat? I think it's Wendy. Right, it's gotta be Wendy. I was only saying. You went with? Wendy. Yeah, I know it's Wendy because of the webcomic Namesake, which is a great webcomic. Highly recommend the webcomic Namesake. Lizzie wasn't showing any signs of slowing down and she went right into the next one.
I know.
Cub, Tiny Bear, and Baby Bear. Which one was from the Goldilocks and the Three Bears? That's easy. Lizzie confidently marked down a choice. This time she hadn't declared her thoughts out loud. Shiloh moved right as well, stopping only briefly to check over Lizzie's shoulder, just in case. You're certain he wanted their quizzes to be exactly the same. Friends always match, that's what he liked to believe. You decided that the best standing answer was... Baby Bear. Or is it Cub? Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear, right? It's gotta be Baby Bear, right? What's with that kid's pox? They're freckles, Mark! Jeez! Baby Bear made the most sense to you. Man, Mark. Just going for the jugular with all the against freckled people here. Pox. Hey, this next one is only a question. They're all questions, Shiloh. I meant, it says, I'm late for a very important date. Who am I? The White Rabbit. Oh. The answers were all animals with colors. Ah, I remember, it's the Alice story with the White Rabbit. Really? Really? What?
It's okay.
I just thought that was it. But we don't have to go with that one. It's okay. We fit, class. The animal who was always running late was the White Rabbit. Lizzie watched you finish writing and bit her lip at the next question. The Narnia series of books ends with one girl being, Hey! Is this the real ending? I didn't get to the last book yet. Ooh. Dang, spoilers.
Jeez.
I'm not looking at the list. I'm not looking. Write something down for both of us. You pulled the paper away from Lizzie's dramatic show of covering her face and turning away. Out of the girls who visited in the books, the one left out of Narnia in the end was... Anyone know this? Anyone know which one was left out of the left out of Narnia? Lucy? Yeah. Here's a question. Out of the girls who visited in the books, the one left out of Narnia in the end was... Okay, Susan. Turns out it's Susan. Cheater? Yes, I am, Jimmy. I want the score. I want to get the right score. I want to get the... I want to ace this quiz, Jimmy. Hey, Steven. Poor Susan, but you checked her full name and glanced up at Lizzie again. Are you done?
Yep.
Yep. Here, I'll read the next one.
Thanks.
Shiloh lit up with delight at the word, then cleared his throat. The middle initial B in Child Detective Junie B. Jones's name stands for what? Your older sister slumped forward with a sigh. There are so many different book questions. No one could have read them all.
Sorry.
Sorry, Lizzie. You guessed that the B in Junie B. Jones stood for. I'm guessing Beatrice is my guess. Yay, I was right. My guess was right. Beatrice. I guessed Beatrice. I figured Beatrice. My guess was Beatrice because it's the least common of these three names. It's the it's a weird name. Beatrice is an oddball name, and kids' books love oddball names. Junie Beatrice Jones. The other two put something down as well. This next one is a bonus question. We're almost done. Oh yeah, we can make up anything we missed on this one to the next one. It's not really a book question, though. The sun being blocked out by the moon was a phenomenon called eclipse. They put some astronomy books on the bonus reading list. I haven't gone to them either.
Right?
But I think it's a solar eclipse. It blocks out the sun, right?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Sun being blocked by the moon. Is that a solar or a lunar? I don't remember which one is which. Obviously, it's an eclipse. Okay. So it is a solar eclipse. Okay.
Yeah.
The sun being blocked out by the moon was a phenomenon called a solar eclipse, he decided. Your teammates had kept on trekking forward to reading the final bonus question.
What?
This one is even less on our reading list. Huh? How? Fill in the remaining letters to complete the title of the book that's a classic of English children's literature. The Secret Garden, I would think. Game, guess, garden, I have no idea. Why are all these last questions so bad? Shiloh glanced down at his lap and started twiddling his thumbs. You think he wanted to apologize again, but the words were left unsaid. From the list of G words, he went with garden. The Secret Garden. Brittany Venti, I have no idea who Brittany Venti is. The Secret Garden had a nice ring. I'm finished. With all the questions answered, Lizzie beamed. Okay, we need to go hand these in. I can do it. Here. He snatched up his, Lizzie's, and even your own paper and hurried up to hand it over to the judge. Lizzie decided to get up from the table too. I like it too, Harlem. Hey, Jamie.
Not as much fun without you.
Aw, thanks for doing this again. It's not as much fun without you. We have to do it every year. Aw. Thank you, Lizzie. Lizzie's a good sister. Aw, Lizzie. Lizzie grinned, and just in time to prevent you from saying anything else, Shiloh skipped back over. All done. It'll be a couple minutes, sorry, but I asked him to come to us first. That's smart. Cove's dad should be here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like to be late. Jeez, where the hell did you come from? Ah! As though he was a ghost, Cove suddenly appeared, standing behind Lizzie.
Hi.
Hi, Cove. I guess your dad isn't like the rabbit. When did you get here? He shrugged. A while ago. That one question about the classic book was The Secret Garden. Oh. Lizzie huffed, her eyes rolling to the side. They must not have picked that answer, and the revelation seemed to end the conversation. Nah, I'm not really nervous for Nancy. She'll be fine. The four of you sat at your table and waited. Now that you were close to the scores, Lizzie's mood had gone right back to being just as intense as before. She wanted to win. Win something, at least. You could tell the Cove was kind of thankful he hadn't stuck around to compete. Finally, the librarian came up to the table with a basket of prizes. Group 6! You kids did fantastic! Here's a poster, bracelet, some temporary tattoos, and stickers as well. Thank you for participating. Lizzie snatched up the prizes and clutched them to her chest. Her smile was polite, but her eyes were all competitive fire.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to win first place next year. That's the spirit. I'll be looking forward to seeing you all then. Prizes delivered, the librarian wandered off to go let other groups know how they'd done. Right as Cove's dad spotted you from between two bookshelves. Stephen? Oh, Chantal went to the hospital today, Stephen. She was having trouble breathing. So between possibly anxiety, possibly just asthma. What happened to her? I just had McDonald's straight up. Hey kids, how'd you do? We might have won first place if Cove had stayed, but he didn't, so we didn't.
Huh?
Huh? You left, Cove? I wanted to look around. But your friend. It's okay, Lizzie's really smart. And Jamie and Cove, too. Wasn't this fun? Your sister looked down at her prizes, then flashed her best, friendliest fake smile at Mr. Holden.
Uh-huh.
It sure was. Those stickers were probably going to end up all over the house.
That's...
Even so, next time you should... Cove? Cove? Cove's dad glanced around, slightly frantic. But Cove, just like always, had snuck off without thinking to say anything. Oh, no idea, Nancy. She hasn't told me anything yet. Her heart's... Oh, okay. Well, I did not look at that. I was unaware of that. Thanks for... I mean, she would have told me when she got back home, but yeah, I just hadn't asked her yet. Sing one of the sentences? No, Brooke, I will not be seen. He's leaving! Cove's trying to be the first one to the car! With a sudden burst of speed, Lizzie darted for the exit, still in Victor to be mode, even for something like a race to ride in the front seat. There was nothing else for the three of you to do except head after them, pretending the librarians hadn't noticed all the commotion. Lizzie had claimed a window seat in the car. Judging by her expression, this win hadn't been sufficient to compensate for her earlier loss. Cove is Houdini? Cove's a little ninja, yeah. Cove had sighed as she shot past him at the last second, and he had to sit in the middle, but he cheered up some as you hopped in the back seat next to him. Before silence settled over the car, Mr. Holden cleared his throat. Cove, you really should have stuck with the group. The quiz would have been fun. That was the plan when I dropped you off. Is it hot outside? Probably. And that's where your friends were. You didn't have to be by yourself. I wanted to, and I didn't leave the library. I'm glad for that much, but well, there's a lot of trouble you can get into on your own, even in a library. Just be careful next time. It's a library, Cove's dad! I'll try to keep that in mind, Stephen. It's a library. Libraries are totally safe, Stephen. Or Cove's dad. Libraries are totally safe, Cove's dad. Come on. Ease up. Relax, dude. Chill. Take a chill pill. I worry about you, and I bet I'm not the only one who didn't want you to unexpectedly run off. Okay, son?
Okay.
That's my boy. Now, enough guff from your old dad. Sorry we didn't win, Lizzie. You did really good still, and I had a great time. That's the spirit. Judging by how Lizzie pulled her arms closer to her chest, she didn't agree with this sentiment. She looked over her shoulder at you, her expression softening. Thanks for doing the quiz anyway. We'll win for sure next time. What's going on here? We're playing a game. Game looks interesting. It is Oogie Boogie. You nodded, making her face brighten.
Yeah, even if it means we have to read everything. Maybe we should get started now. We'll go over the whole library. You can't read all that. Just watch us. It is cute, Toast.
Ugh.
I don't want to watch you read. You kids, no need to fight. It's good that you're setting your sights high, though. It had been a fun day. You'd like to have spent more of it with Code, but this event was special and you just couldn't pass it up. There would be other times you could hang out with him. Nancy, yes. It is pretty much just dialogue. Never heard of this game? Yeah, it was one that was from Kickstarter. Like, it was just a visual novel that was funded through Kickstarter. Thanks, Oogie Boogie. Tamisha? I mean, it sort of is, Tamisha. It's a visual novel, so it's sort of a mix between a game and a book. Like, it's basically it's a story. It's sort of a choose your own adventure type of story. Anime game? No, not an anime game. So visual novels are somewhat akin to choose your own adventure. The plot is mostly linear. Like, it's pretty much, it's a largely set plot, but you do get to choose certain dialogue options and certain actions here and there. Is it fall now? I think it's whatever season we need it to be. Let's do barbecue. You've been brought along to the big park today, which did an excellent job of living up to its title. The park near your house, with its lonely playground equipment, wasn't even a quarter of the size of the expanse of grass and trees that lay before you now. As it was in the next town over, and too far for you to walk to by yourself, you didn't get to visit it much, and so you soaked up the environment. Watching a movie right now? What movie, J-Dot? Thanks, Tamisha. Japanese novels? Lexit knows get kinda icky. Yeah, this one does not, that I'm aware of. There are some nice family-friendly visual novels out there. The Meg, Purple Dinosaur in that park you'd read? Doesn't look like it. I don't see one, Brooke. Or just a nice cozy game. That's sort of what it's going for, is a cozy feel. Another difference between this park and the one in your neighborhood was that this one had visitors other than you, Lizzie, Shiloh, and Cove. Today it was the busiest you'd ever seen it, thanks to a community get-together luring people in from all over the local area with the promise of barbecue and fireworks. Barbecue! Woot woot! I love barbecue. Your family and Coves were just two of many. What seemed like dozens of cars were parked up already when you had arrived. You saw Cove hesitate as he took in the growing gaggle of strangers. By your mommy, Lizzie bounced on the balls of her feet, barely containing her excitement. Yeah, I want barbecue. I want food. It was going to be so good. Mommy had told you that the people running the community event weren't charging for it, but she wanted them to get something in return, which is why you've not been allowed to touch the beautifully iced cupcakes she had carried on her lap during the drive over. It was a special treat for them. Oh, that's nice. Barbecue buffet. Nice. That sounds good, Oogie Boogie. Every time the car made a turn, she'd clutch the box tight enough for her knuckles to strain, much to everyone else's amusement. Sound like barbecue? I like barbecue. Don't really get to eat barbecue anymore. Mr. Holden's contribution to the party, a huge pack of juice boxes, was tucked under his arm after being retrieved from the car's trunk. You bet there had been no such dramatics around that cargo getting here in one piece, but the boxes did lack the beautiful shimmer of Mommy's treasured cupcakes.
Okie dokie.
Oh, happy birthday to your dad, Oogie Boogie. Thoughts about Marvel releasing Blade in November? Sounds cool, I guess. Okie dokie. Everyone else set? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a fun movie, Dandy.
Should be. Cove, did you put sunscreen on before we left? Yeah, I always do. You don't have to tell me. Mr. Holden deflated his attempt at caring for his son rebuffed, but he triumphed with a smile.
Good kid.
I don't want you getting burned. Or dehydrated either. It'll be a busy day.
Wow.
Hey, Hot Mess Life. Don't think there's going to be any risk of that second part.
Good kid. Good kid.
Well,
Mom nodded at the tables up ahead, laden with all kinds of food and drink. She was right. There was plenty to go around. The parents headed over, with you, Lizzie, and Cove trailing after them. Cookie for dessert? Ooh, nice. His wife. No, Jimmy. A bunch of grown-ups were clustered around there, chatting, but you were more intrigued by what was on the tables. Some of it was familiar: chilled meat, sliced vegetables, big bags of chips, but there was a lot you didn't recognize. Oh, hey Heidi. Your moms had said that you weren't to touch the food until they said it was time to eat. I didn't want to risk getting caught. It'd be bad if you got in trouble before the event had even started. You saw that Mommy and Mr. Holton had deposited the food and drink they'd brought. Mommy gave the cupcakes one final worried look before turning to you with a smile. Since that's the topic at hand, how about we freshen up with something to drink? Yeah! That'd be great. Along with the ones out, there was a giant ice cooler on the ground, stuffed full of cans of soda, boxes of juice and milk, as well as bottles of water. Your drink was... soda. Hey, hamburger eyes. The bubbles in the soda tickled your nose as you gulped it down. Your little group took a break while everyone quenched their thirst. Mr. Holden smacked his lips, pantomiming enjoyment. That hit the spot. You kids should go have fun. You can take your stuff with you and join the other kids playing games. Just don't go too far from the tables. Hi, Ashley. We'll be keeping an eye out, so don't even think about sneaking off. We're not going to the other parts of the park today. Lizzie huffed at their comments. They did sound directed at her, but she scanned the surroundings. Nodding her head towards a group of kids like a general directing their battalion, she pointed the way.
come on!
Let's go over there! Cove's mouth was downturned as he looked from the parents and the other adults to the new kids, clearly not favoring either option. But ultimately, he hunched his shoulders and tagged along after Lizzie. You went to play with the other kids too, why not? I actually like the tattoo, Mark. I actually like this tattoo. You followed after Lizzie and Cove, who were waiting for you on the outskirts of a group of parents. Hurry up! You picked up the pace, moving into a jog, but when Lizzie pelted away at full speed, you and Cove had no choice but to break out into a run. The other kids were far out in the field. Still, at your speed, it wasn't long until you reached them. As you approached, they turned around to greet the newcomers. Yes, Brooke, it is a stingray. Added little details added into this game, small little details that, yeah. Hi, I'm Lizzie. That's my little sibling, Jamie, the one with the cast, Cove. You offered a smile. Cove simply lifted a hand in greeting. There was a chorus of hellos and names from the other kids. One of the kids looked to be about Lizzie's age, or older. A couple seemed to be the same age as you and Cove, and there was one tiny little thing with his arms folded over his chest. What are you up to? The first kid, a boy with curly black hair on neon green sneakers who introduced himself as Hayden, shrugged as he looked to the others. Not much. The second kid to pipe up, Lisa, had half her face obscured behind the huge glasses she wore. We haven't decided yet. Show us the kid with the giant glasses, why not? She glanced wistfully over her shoulder. Following her glaze, you saw the spray of water first, and heard the shriek as someone got splashed in the face, before you spotted the person shooting them. Some people are playing with water guns, but there aren't any left. The smallest kid, Noah, rumbled at that. You guessed that was why he was sulking. Spencer, who hadn't said much, patted his shoulder. So that's out. A new kid raced over with a glint in her eyes and her braids streaming behind her. You spotted the plastic orange pistol in her hand too late, when the trigger had already been pressed. Ah! Rude! Hey! Lizzie, who'd been caught first, was fuming. Cove wiped the water from his face. You rubbed at your ear, trying to dislodge the water that had pooled there. Hey, Jay. Yeah, what a jerk kid. Don't spray people who can't spray back. You were with Lizzie. It was mean to spray people who weren't playing too. The girl simply darted off to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction. She doesn't mean anything by it. Lizzie tutted, flicking her hair out of her face. The girl not meaning anything by it didn't change the fact that she'd been sprayed. Cove looked similarly unimpressed. Lisa's face lit up as she had an idea. Hey, we should catch her. She won't be able to spray people if she's running away from everybody. Take care, cat. I'll be taking care of the cat. Yeah! Cove nodded as the other kids murmured their interest, or lack of it, in the game. No thanks. You sat on the sidelines as the other kids chased after the girl with the pistol. Spotting them racing after her, she laughed and shot her pistol in the air. Only a couple of drops squeezed out. She swerved, causing discord within the group as they stumbled over each other in their uncoordinated attempt at turning. I mean, if you want to, J-Dot. You watched quietly. It didn't seem necessary to do anything but watch what happened. The gap between the hunters and the hunted was narrowed. Eyes wide, you watched as Lisa lunged and tackled her friend to the ground. Got her! Panting, she punched the air in triumph, then pushed her glasses back up the bridge of her nose. The girl who had been caught giggled as she got to her feet, brushing strands of grass from her knees. Smiling, Cove came to a stop. Lizzie whooped with delight, clapping her hands. The boy with the bright sneakers grinned. You're it now! Catch us if you can! Yeah! I'll do it! You won't get away from me! They all dispersed, squealing and laughing as they tried to evade capture. The sour mood from earlier had evaporated entirely, replaced by a light and playful atmosphere. Several rounds later, when most of the kids had taken at least one turn as it, the scent of smoke wafted up your nose. Jimmy? Apparently she's got an enlarged heart, as people are saying. I'll find out more details about what's happening with her when she gets home. Caught by surprise, you looked up and found that the brilliant blue of the sky had turned orange as the sun sunk down on the horizon. With all the excitement, you'd lost track of time completely. Looking over, you saw people standing over the grills and poking them to life. It was nearly time to eat. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the stuff. Man, I miss barbecues. We shouldn't. I don't think we'll need one, Dandy. We have. Dandy, we're Canadian. What do we need with GoFundMes for healthcare? We have healthcare. We don't need healthcare GoFundMes. That's a uniquely American problem. Like, GoFundMes to cover healthcare expenses, that is uniquely American. Oogie Boogie, I don't have a barbecue. We don't have a barbecue. We can't have a barbecue where we live. We should get over there. I'm so hungry. Our parents are at different spots. Yeah. Bye, it was cool playing. Yep, bye. You waved goodbye to the other group of kids before hurrying over to your parents with Lizzie and Cove. A tickle unfurled in your throat, growing more persistent as you came close to the source of the smoke. As the three of you approached the tables, your parents spotted you and came to join you halfway. You tried to greet them, but another cough obstructed your words. Woof, that's quite a cough.
Aww.
Are you alright, sweetie? I'm fine.
Are you sure? No one needs to go up to the grills if they don't want to. Just let me know what you need. I mean, sure, Heidi, but she makes a living by going on YouTube. It's not like... I mean, we'll see, but... Pool close by? Oh, yeah. I don't really like swimming hamburger. I mean, probably Oogie Boogie, but it's not the same. There was no response from the other two kids here. Korean barbecue's best. I actually want to try Korean barbecue. That is something that I really want to try. I had Korean barbecue chicken wings once, like Korean barbecue flavored chicken wings from a wing place. They weren't as hot as I was expecting. They weren't as flavorful as I was expecting. My swim costume? I don't have a swimming costume, bro. Yeah, I'll ask her to get it. Please, could you get it for me? Of course.
So,
The main thing being served is kebabs. You can have whatever you'd like on it. There's different meats and veggies.
well,
What would you like on yours? Mom is right, there's plenty of options. Beef? Onions? Yeah, peppers. I mean, that's a traditional kebab, right? And fruit, pork. Like, that's the traditional kebab, is like one meat, onions, and peppers. I feel like that's like this sake. I don't like alcoholic stuff, Jimmy, so no sake. I've never had sake. And that's everything. Sounds good to me. The veggies will be good for you. Order given, you waited for your food to be ready. Lizzie headed towards you, having issued her own request. Hi again. I heard what you ordered. I'm getting a chicken kebab with all 3 colors of peppers. Noticing the cook approach, she turned to him. What are you having?
why?
Why does it matter? Why wouldn't it matter, Cove? Everybody wants to know what other people are having. Like, when it's a thing... Yeah, people want to know what other people are eating. It's just human nature. No, Brooke, it would not be a G-string. I don't know, I was just asking. I'm getting beef and shrimp with all the vegetables, except onions. Lizzie hummed while evaluating his response. That's okay, I guess, but chicken is definitely the better one. Eh, chicken's okay, but beef and pork, give me beef and pork. Then you can eat all the chicken. I'm going to. Yeah, this is a stupid argument. Yeah, it is. It isn't an argument. We already finished. Lizzie peered over to the grills where the kebabs were being handed out. A growing assortment of kebabs collected in your parents' hands. They're coming over. Don't get jealous of mine when you realize you made the wrong choice, Cove. I didn't make the wrong choice. Man, Lizzie's a jerk. We all made good choices. It's just what kebab somebody eats. The person serving gave your mommy one final kebab, then your parents moved over to rejoin you. Between them, they were carrying 6 kebabs, one for each of you, including Cove and Mr. Holden. We've got the goods. Cove's daddy is looking for a place we can sit. In the meantime, they began passing out the kebabs to their rightful owners. Lizzie smiled smugly as she received hers. Soy sauce? No, I don't like soy sauce straight up. These are pretty big. Be careful not to drop them. Try not to poke yourselves at the ends either. They're sharper than you might think. Hearing that, you tentatively pushed the tip of the skewer against your fingers. It felt like the point of a newly sharpened pencil. I can believe it, Oogie Boogie. Though it didn't hurt your hand, you wouldn't want it scraping the roof of your mouth or jabbing your tongue. Mommy clucked her tongue. Would have been nice if the options were a little easier to manage and less messy to eat, especially for smaller kids. There aren't even plates for everyone, so we could set the food down for a second.
True.
That's it yet for the price of free. But we can hack it, right? Pork chops? I like pork chops. I don't put soy sauce on pork chops, but I like pork chops. Lizzie nodded her head vigorously, clutching her kebab like a trophy. Your parents led you back to the tables. It was immediately evident why Mr. Holden had been sent to scout one out. The benches had quickly filled up as people got their food. Mr. Holden was standing over a corner section near the edges of the sitting area. He beckoned your group over to join him. You clambered onto the bench, taking care not to let your kebab slip from your fingers. Cove took a seat next to you, Lizzie took the other side. Your mom passed the final unclaimed kebab to Mr. Holden.
Thank you.
Thanks, this looks delicious. What else do I like? I like lots of stuff, J-Dog. Thank you for getting us space out here. Everyone tucked into their food. Though you didn't think you'd use much energy standing around, you felt very ready to enjoy your dinner. Perhaps it had been the delicious smells that had filled the air, along with the smoke that had so irritated your throat. Mr. Holden, what do you do?
Well,
Well, I do a lot of things.
International man of mystery? Do you play golf? Only if you count mini golf. One look at Lizzie's stricken face confirmed that she did not. She could enjoy the occasional round at a mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress, but your sister took her passion very seriously. Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot. Gave it a shot. God damn it, Cove's dad. Cove groaned at the feeble pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure if she was responding to the joke, Cove's annoyance, or Lizzie's offense. God damn it, Cove's dad.
Don't worry about it.
Just as well, she'd be dragging you to the green every week. That's because I've got dedication. You need a good drive or two to get far. Mr. Holden nodded, clicking his tongue in appreciation. Cove looked from his father to your sister, lost in the conversation. Outclassed in golf and wit. I don't get it. More golf stuff. I'll let Lizzie have the drive pun because she's like 10. But Cove's dad, no, Cove. Cove's dad, no. No. That is not alright, Cove's dad, that pun, no. You should give real golf a try. Maybe I'll even teach you some tricks. Italian ice? Dragon Ball Z on Nintendo DS? That sounds interesting, J-Dog. Don't try to change my dad to be more like you. Lizzie gave Cove a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated. That's really sweet of you, but I'm sure Mr. Holden is busy. He might not have time for another hobby. Yeah, I don't think I'm made for that. Still, the offer is appreciated.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. Just go away every day. You just go away every day. I like scuba diving. Though with the business, that's more work than play these days. Surfing and reading, snorkeling. It's a good thing you live by the beach. Don't I know it? I have nightmares about moving inland.
No way.
That's not a good joke. The sun had been setting when you'd got your food. By the time you'd finished, night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence of your meal. The kebab had been a great combination, more than the sum of its parts. The seasoning of freedom. To choose every ingredient yourself. Hold on. The seasoning of freedom. To choose every ingredient yourself was what made it something to remember. I've never played any Dragon. I've never watched any Dragon Balls. J. Dot. So. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle. Okay, now that the food is gone, you've got to wash your hands.
Okay.
Jamie, Lizzie, please hold them out. Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mommy splashed some water over her fingers, and Lizzie rubbed them together, working off any residue. Here, what anime do I watch? Not much, Athena. I don't watch. I know what Dragon Ball is, J. Dot. I'm aware of Earth Angel. Her name is Mommy Milkers. You a questionable content reader, Earth Angel? For anime that I do watch, I mean, obviously I love Cowboy Bebop. I like Sailor Moon. Love Carol and Tuesday. I love Carol and Tuesday. Gangsta? No. Here. Mom passed her a paper towel from her purse, and Lizzie used it to dry off her hands. Your turn, Jamie. You readily held your hands out to catch the water. Copying Lizzie, you washed your hands, taking care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hands on his pants and leaving a stain where his fingers had been. Mr. Holden shook his head.
Come on.
Let's clean that off, pal. He scrubbed at the fabric with a scrunched-up napkin. Sailor Moon is everything? Yep. I've got a Sailor Mercury bobblehead. Funko Pop. And obviously I've got my Sailor Moon t-shirts. Dad, it's not that bad. When everyone was cleaned up, or as clean as they could be with the limited facilities, Mom spoke up.
Let's go.
Let's go make one last check at the coolers and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. Everyone loves Sailor Moon. No time! We have to get a good spot. Everywhere's gonna be taken. How about I go ahead to save space again? You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks. Inuyasha never watched. Then I'm going with Cove's dad. I'll find the perfect place. Sure thing. I could use an extra pair of eyes. Mommy shook her head ruefully at Lizzie's even more enthusiastic than usual attitude.
That's fine.
Alright, me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go find a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and Jamie, do you want to go get the drinks? Okay. I have a Sailor Moon figurine. You nodded. As Mommy, Lizzie, and Mr. Holden headed off into the wide, open field where the fireworks were being set up, you joined Cove and Mom in returning to the cooler where you'd picked up drinks earlier. Even as you approached, you suspected you wouldn't find much in it. Where it had originally been stocked to the brim, it was now half empty. Favorite anime is Rugrats. Lucky Star. The ice, which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool, was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating like tiny icebergs. Slim pickings. The drinks that remained looked to be bottles of plain water, but you caught a glimpse of something more colorful in amongst them. Mom rummaged around in the cooler, excavating a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process.
Aha.
Jamie, Cove, you can take one of those if you want. The perks of helping. I'll be nice. Cove hesitated, but decided to take a juice box for himself. When you each loaded up with your chosen drink, plus an extra bottle or two for someone else in the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles over into the crook of her arm and looked at the color. It's Mommy. Hold tight while I get this.
How are you?
Hey, hun. How's it going? Did you find our perfect spot already? She nodded along to the call, punctuated by uh-huhs as Mommy gave her directions. Catching your eye, she gestured towards the grassy area. We've got a place. Come on, we better hurry before the show starts. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field. and the separate groups of people assembled there back to the rest of your families.
Hello.
Hello, we're here, and we come bearing drinks, though there wasn't much left. The three of you handed over the spare drinks. You gave Lizzie a bottle of water, but she only had eyes for the one juice box.
Cove has juice.
Cove helped get the drinks. You got to pick where we sat. Don't be spoiled. I'm not. Good. Then you're going to thank us for bringing you your very own water bottle. Thanks. Once everyone had been equipped with a drink for the big event, you sat on the grass beside Cove and waited for the magic to begin. Most people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers silhouetted back at the tables in the distance. A few rambunctious kids were still dashing about, but their number was steadily decreasing as the parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box weaved between the groups, pausing every so often. You nudged Cove and pointed. Aquaman? Cool. I have never watched Moonface or Fruit Basket, Athena. What are they doing? Looks like they're handing something out. I can't make out what it is.
What a pickle.
I hope it's not drinks. Mommy chuckled, but Lizzie and Cove were now watching the bestower of mystery goods keenly. Are they going to come to us too? Mom softly put her hands on top of your sister's shoulders, as if she feared Lizzie might bolt over to the stranger. Lizzie didn't even glance at her, eyes locked on the potential prize. I don't know.
In that case...
We'll have to wait and see. Ladies facing top right. This one, Oogie. I was intrigued. Studying the man with the box closely as he gradually meandered nearer, you could make out that he was handing out small items to most of the groups he stopped at. They seemed too short to be water bottles, but beyond that it remained a mystery. Then the box man made his way to your group. Evening, I'm handing out dessert. Any takers?
Hell yeah, dessert! There's dessert?
Lizzie squealed, hopping up off the ground. The man chuckled. I'm going to take that as a yes. Ice cream's on the menu. Vanilla flavored with a twist of either chocolate or strawberry syrup.
Nice.
Strawberry. Nice. None for me, though, thanks. Say, but the offer is appreciated. I want chocolate. Can I have strawberry? And a strawberry for me, too, please. Now you are going to have to make a decision. Chocolate or strawberry? I'm gonna get strawberry. Oh, yeah. I love me some strawberry ice cream. Reaching into the box, the man brought out the requested ice creams and tossed them out. It came packaged in a little plastic cup, complete with a wooden spoon stuck to the paper lid. Ice cream looks sketchy. The condensation wet your fingers in a pleasant way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kids, are you going to thank the nice man too? There was a chorus of thanks. He cordially nodded and walked off to another group. The man couldn't spend much time with each group, considering how many he had to get to. You peeled back the tab that covered the ice cream and got right into your unexpected treat. It tasted amazing. Lizzie was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. Lizzie munched away happily, but it ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing her attention. Eyes wide, she looked at her mommy and pulled on her pants.
Please?
I didn't get strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please? Lizzie is such a brat.
Of course.
Lizzie cooed with excitement as Mommy presented her with a dollop of the ice cream and dessert mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie lapped it up. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheek, then dug her spoon in again and held it out to you. I just can't resist. Jamie, would you like some of mine? They've already got that flavor. But that's not the same as getting a little extra from your mommy. All right. Just to piss off Mom, I think. You ate the treat being offered, much to Mom's chagrin and Mommy's delight. Cove watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a fond smile on her face. Well, you better at least give me some too.
You could have gotten your own if you wanted ice cream.
What?
The kids have ice cream already, and they're getting some of yours to boot. And I have nothing. Now is when you decide to be firm? Marriage. Laughing, Mommy fed some ice cream to your sulking mom. She could never actually follow through with being tough.
There.
All better now? Yes. Good. How about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No, I'm still okay. But thanks for keeping me in mind. I'm a mom and I wouldn't want to share. Cove? It's only fair that you get the choice too. Cove shook his head firmly, concentrating on his own cup. Mommy smiled. Okay, as long as no one is feeling left out. Mommy was always so nice to everyone. You looked over at Cove. He was digging into his ice cream, which bore the same pinkish-red twirl as your own. Yeah, no. I'm not sharing my damn ice cream. Hell no. Hell no! You were going to keep the rest of your ice cream to yourself, and he already had the same flavor as you. Then, the first firework cut through the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit its crescendo with an explosion. The park flashed as if alight. Squealing, Lizzie leapt to her feet, her forgotten ice cream tumbling to the ground, as the firework crackled into tiny drops of glitter in the sky. It's starting! Everyone else looked up to the sky as another firework whizzed through the air. With each explosion, Lizzie would jump into the air. It was kind of neat. Cove sat by his dad, captivated by the sky sparkles and flashes overhead. Mr. Holden watched the fireworks scene impassively. He did smile at you, and even gave a thumbs up when he noticed you looking over. Mommy hopped to her feet, pulling Mom with her, pushing her into joining Lizzie and jumping up in tandem with every crack of a firework. Plans for tomorrow? I don't know, I'll be doing a live at some point, J-Dot. Mommy then bent down to offer you a hand up, too. I'll watch quietly from the ground. How long is this game? Pretty long, I think, Jimmy. The vast array of colors in the sky were hypnotic. As if entranced, you stayed rooted to the floor, marveling at the wonders flashing above you. Mommy understood when you didn't get off the ground. Instead, she sat down again right by you. The two of you enjoyed the sparkles side by side, while Mom and Lizzie danced together. The fireworks continued, some twirling like the coil of a spring as they arched into the air, others shooting straight from the ground and shattering into a million tiny specks. Every color got its spotlight in the show, from fiery reds to eerie greens and blues that could rival the ocean. You eventually noticed that at some point, Mr. Holden had let Cove perch atop his shoulders. Or more likely, Cove had to be persuaded to give it a try. Still, Cove's face was covered with a wide smile that matched his father's own. You imagine the view from way up there was pretty impressive. It was also nice that they were getting along for once. The show built up to a grand finale that boomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky, the twinkling lights representing the full spectrum of the rainbow. Am I not done with this game? It's a long game, Icky. Each section is pretty long. No, Brooke. I'm not burning my house down, Brooke. As the final glittering embers dissolved into the night, you released a deep breath. The afterimage was still burned on your retinas, leaping up behind your eyelids with every blink. Within a minute, the image had been lost, but it was burned deeper still in your mind. You'd been so focused on the show that your foot had gone numb beneath you, and it was only when you attempted to stand that you felt the tingling sensation of blood rushing back to your toes. Because your requests are all bad, Brooke! Cove was on the ground again. You flashed him a grin, which he immediately matched. Getting to share the experience with a friend made a fun night even better. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air on your bare arms was warm. I like it too, Athena. You took in your giddy family, their spirits buoyed by the firework display, then your new friend and his father, who looked happy in their own,
quieter way and smiled. This had been a pretty special night. All right. Ghost. Ghost! The night was incredibly still. You really couldn't ignore how silent it was. It was almost eerie. You could even hear Lizzie snoring in the next room over. It was hard to believe how much of a blur today was. Summer sure did slip right past you. You flicked through the moments like pages in a scrapbook as you laid in bed. The ones that stuck out all seemed to include your new neighbor, Cove. It was funny how he'd become such a big part of your life in such a short span of time. You thought a lot about what adventures you could have tomorrow until sleep started to catch up to you. Then you heard something scrape against the window. It wasn't that uncommon for the wind to push a tree branch against the glass. Summer breezes were the worst sometimes. Hey, Feeder. I am not afraid of ghosts, Feeder. I don't believe in ghosts. But the more you tried to ignore it, the louder it seemed like it became. It was like something was trying to get your attention. Athena, I've got a few games like this on my Steam. You lifted your head off the pillow to get a better look. Nothing was there. Nothing you could see, at least. You just went back to bed. It was only your imagination. You tried again to close your eyes and go to sleep. But the unknown scratching sounds didn't stop. It left your heart pounding. You couldn't ignore it anymore. You had to check it out. You practically jumped out of bed and crept down the stairs to go outside. Your moms were still awake. They stayed up so late it seemed. Luckily, they were watching TV and didn't hear the soft click of the front door opening as you slipped past. You looked around the neighborhood for a few seconds, checking over each individual house. It looked normal, but it didn't feel that way. Ghosts believe in me? Well, that's nice of them. You knew you weren't supposed to be out here right now. It was exhilarating. Your chest was light and you couldn't keep the grin from your face. No one had permitted you to go out. In fact, no one even knew you were out, and yet here you were. You wondered what else you could do. What other rules were so ingrained that you had never even considered that they could be broken? Breaking the law, breaking the law!
Jamie!
Oh, you twitched at the sudden call, immediately calming down upon seeing Cove walking up to you. It was strange, and yet also completely normal, to have him appear like this right now. What are you doing? I saw you standing around in the middle of the street from my window. You weren't sleeping either? Why not? Cove turned up his lips to smile, almost as if he were amused by the question. Because. Did you hear a weird noise? You could tell you hit the nail on the head by the way his eyes widened. Yeah, you knew? I heard it too. That's why you came out, huh? Cove hesitated for a moment, looking down the street before his aquamarine eyes fell on you again. Did it scare you? No, just annoyed me. I was scared. It's okay, Cove. We're safe. And we have each other.
Thanks.
Your reassurance definitely seemed to ease his fears, at least a little. I was kind of wondering if it was the wind, but what if it's not? What if it's a person? What if it's something that's not a person? The unsettling noise suddenly rushed through the air. Cove and you flinched. It sounds even worse than before. You were about to agree with them when the noise came yet again, tearing through the still night. The two of you rapidly looked around, trying to find the source, but to no avail. There was no sign of an answer to this puzzle. You thought that? There's got to be a regular reason for it. You didn't believe in monsters or anything like that. It's probably a skunk, or maybe a squirrel. Nothing really bad is going to be out here. I don't think it's in Japanese, Ikki. The thought seemed to make Cove feel a little more confident. A small animal was definitely something the two of you could handle. Oh, hey, Rara. Welcome. Hey, can you tell where it's coming from?
Not really.
Then we'll have to look more, somewhere else. Maybe we'll see something. Okay, let's go. As you walk the familiar streets of your neighborhood, you find yourself taking the lead while Cove hung back behind you. You were happy to let him rely on you. Shadows cut corners and angles where you didn't expect them, distorting the features you saw every day. It's not an anime, Icky. The noise came again, shrill and hard. It set your teeth on edge the way it ground its way through you. Cove's throat bobbed, his eyes glistened in the dim light. You offered him your hand. You really wanted to be there for him and wanted to show that. Your hand was left up for him to take. Cove's mouth opened wordlessly. There was a pause, but ultimately he accepted the offer. This shirt? No, this is a purple shirt, J-Dot. His hand was really sweaty, but it didn't bother you. Cove shut his eyes and pressed his lips together. Your fingers locked around each other even tighter.
So...
Where did you want to check? Yeah, the park makes sense. The private playground was empty as ever, yet the mysterious sound could still be heard, hanging heavy and ominous in the air. But you kept going forward. You couldn't stop when you had already gone so far. You had to find out what was going on. Cove was practically shaking when he realized it had progressed far enough to reach there. He swallowed hard, but faced you with a determined face. My dad says, good detective work starts at home. He watches a lot of crime shows, so maybe it could be good to look closely. Okay. The two of you swept through every corridor of the park. No monkey bar, swing, or tire went unchecked. Huh. He was squatting on the ground, squinting at something in his hand. Intrigued, you checked over his shoulder so you could see too. Cove held it in his open palm. Coiled inside was a length of sparkly chain, grains of sand embedded in the fine links. Lifting it up, it became apparent how this had come to be here. You'd seen bracelets and necklaces enough to recognize that the clasp which held it together had snapped. It's broken. It's silver. Werewolves hate silver. Other things too, I think. If this noise is caused by a monster... It's not... We can protect ourselves with it. Yeah! He flicked the chain as if cracking a tiny whip. I wonder if there's anything else we could use out here. Cove considered this, frowning. I should have grabbed some garlic before I left. His frown evolved into a scowl. It probably wouldn't have worked. Dad doesn't have real garlic. He gets fake garlic? It's little flakes in a jar, not real balls you have to cut up like Mom uses. Still real garlic, just already chopped up.
Maybe.
From his begrudging tone, you could tell he was still firmly on the side of fresh garlic. Fair enough. Even though you had exhausted all the possible places to search in the park, the sound still rang through the air, mocking you. Should we look somewhere else? We can check the beach, too. The beach stretched out in front of you, nothing in sight along its sands, no matter which way you turned. Part of you had imagined the noise as some creature of the deep washed up on the shore and calling for aid. That theory had to be taken off the list for now. Still, you'd spent enough time in the shore to know that the real finds often required a sharp eye and careful attention. The sound was no more than a whimper now. Emboldened, you kept your head high and walked along the sand. Let's see if anything's here. If there's anything here. Cove began to comb the beach for clues. You followed suit. The angry wind sent grains of sand rolling across the beach like waves. You stayed clear of the water, which was rough and choppy tonight, and scoured the area for hints as to what might be happening. You saw something glint in the sand, full of promise, but when you eagerly uncovered it, you found that it was just foil from a chip packet. You stowed it away with a sigh. Did you find something? No. Cove shrugged and gave you a sympathetic smile. That's how it goes sometimes. You're having diarrhea? Good times, J-Dot, good times. You like...
Yeah,
Whoops. You like hunting for treasures on the beach too, right?
yeah.
Have you ever found anything mysterious or weird? Who the hell is Adrian Blair? You were expecting him to mull the question over for a bit, but Cove answered immediately. Teeth. Fair enough, Cove. Fair enough. Like a shark's tooth? You'd seen those for sale in shops, so you'd never been lucky enough to stumble across one at the beach. No, not that. People teeth. No. Yeah. You know how grown-ups sometimes don't have their own teeth any longer, and they get fake ones so they can still eat? You nodded, listening and fascinated. Oh, jeez. Ah, Cove. I found some. The top half. How'd you know it was the top half? It had the pink top of the mouth bit, like this. He opened wide and pointed at the roof of his mouth. He let out a squeal. What did you do with them? Mom took them from me. I don't know what happened to it after that. That was... way stranger than the stuff I've seen. The weirdest thing I remember was a keyring with Lizzie's name on it, but it wasn't actually hers. The coincidence was made much less special by the fact that it actually said Liz, a moniker your sister had never taken.
Neat.
Cove was still tickled by your discovery, even if you thought it wasn't as exciting as his. He's not collecting them intentionally, Icky. As you contemplated your options, it occurred to you that you hadn't heard the noise for a while. You looked askance at Cove to see if he had noticed. He was still busy poking in the sand. You squeaked out a small sound. Cove brushed the sand from his hands and stood up. What is it, Jamie? The noise. Cove furrowed his brow, listening for the wailing and scratching that had lured you from your beds. You watched as realization blossomed over his face. This is nice music. It's gone. You both stood awkwardly in the now silent night. Without the mysterious call to lead you here, there wasn't a reason to stay out here any longer. The night was still as you walked home. With none of the usual background noises or the eerie whistle from before, you could hear every step you and Cove made like a cough in a movie theater. The two of you came to a halt outside your front door. Never before had it looked so ominous. You wrung your hands nervously. Would your absence have been noticed? Do you sneak out a lot? This is the first time. Yeah, I've never tried to do it till now. Thought so. How did you know? I hadn't seen you out of my window this late before. That was fair. Though, it could have been possible you were just so good at sneaking that this was the first time he had caught you. Are you worried about getting caught?
No.
He was so forthright that you believed him completely. But your dad, won't he get mad or sad if he catches you? He's never happy with what I do. Aw. Oh. That must be hard. Yeah, he and Mom do what they want. Why shouldn't I? Alright, I'm going in.
Bye.
Okay, good night. Good night, Cove. Thanks for coming with me tonight. You made me feel better about stuff. I want to say thanks to you. You beamed at him. You turned the doorknob as slowly as a clock's minute hand, holding your breath for the telltale click of the lock, then nudged it open. When all that happened was the door opening, rather than the blaring alarms that you feared, you melted with relief. Back inside your house, you were surprised to find your mom still watching TV. Weirder still, it looked like they were on the same shows they were watching before you left, yet you were positive you'd been out investigating for hours. Perhaps you could use their distraction to your advantage. If you could just get up the stairs, it would be safe from suspicion. But how could you get there? You tried to sneak past. You hugged the wall as you creeped delicately around the perimeter of the room. It was a valiant effort that any spy would have been proud of, right up until the moment you tripped over a power cord and nearly fell over. Jamie? You might not have fallen, but your accident ruined your cover. You had been spotted. They abandoned the couch and the show to hurry over. They were still in a state of surprise. You weren't in trouble yet.
Are you okay?
What are you doing down here, sweetie? Did you have a bad dream? Shara, your diarrhea? Hey, Noelle. I'm gonna be a liar. You couldn't bring yourself to own up to what you had done. I heard scary noises, so I came down here. Their surprise gave way to concern.
Sweetie.
Honey, Mom took you by the hand and led you up the stairs. Woof, your hand is cold. Why didn't you come over to us? I was supposed to be in bed. Jamie, you won't ever be in trouble for coming to us when you're frightened. We'd much rather you came to us than try to solve things all by yourself. Oops. Her phrasing made you feel bad. The nervousness ate at you as you were tucked into bed. Your mom's assumed that your flushing and insistence on delving under the covers was part of your fear, and spoke to you softly until you calmed down enough to peep out from underneath your sheets. No, Dandy. Once your mom had left, you turned over the night's adventure in your mind. It was still hard to believe that you'd really done it. It was harder still to believe that you'd gotten away with it. Even now you half expected to be caught somehow. Perhaps you'd left the door ajar, or trailed sand where they'd already swept up. You hoped that Cove had gone home okay, though he hadn't been worried being told off was never fun. Wriggling down deeper underneath the sheets, your thoughts turned to the unsolved mystery. You and Cove had only just begun to scratch the surface of it. Maybe you'd solve it and maybe you wouldn't, but what mattered was that you'd shared the experience with each other. You were still so energized by the night's excitement that you tossed and turned in bed for some time, thinking of theories to share with Cove when you next saw him. Sleep eventually claimed you, but the adventure merely resumed in your dreams. The next morning proceeded mostly like usual, though your mom seemed to be giving extra consideration since finding you last night. You later learned Cove didn't end up in trouble for the nightly escapade either. It was unclear whether that was because his dad chose not to punish him, or if Cove got away with it. It was amazing to you that it all worked out for you both. As for the sounds that started this all, the adults around were convinced it was nothing more than the wind. For your imaginative mind, that wasn't nearly enough. How could they accept something so simple so easily? Maybe it'd make more sense when you were grown up too. Alright. Let's do Runaway. It was early, and you were on your way to the playground. Lizzie planned on joining you there later. You weren't sure what she was busy with right now. Older kid stuff, you imagined. That was okay. What was forefront in your mind was that Cove might be free to come too. As you walked the familiar street, wondering how you might find your neighbor, he appeared right in front of you. Almost as if he was a mind reader. Hey, Zakros. Hopefully, Jimmy. I hope so, Jimmy. Hi. Can you play now?
No.
No. Sorry. Cove looked strangely serious. It had to be an even bigger deal than whatever mystery thing Lizzie had to do. I'm leaving, Jamie. What? Where? He shifted, and your gaze was drawn to the backpack slung over his shoulders. Cove liked to stuff things into his pockets, from what you've seen, but people sometimes carry bags with them. It hadn't been very attention-worthy until now. The pack was decorated with cartoon waves and dolphins. He gripped one of the straps tightly with his good hand. I just wanted you to know. Cove didn't glance up and meet your eyes. You started to grow worried. But where are you going? He didn't answer. It was as if he hadn't said anything. I'll come back, though. Sometime. I don't know when. But we can do stuff then. He directed a fragile smile your way. Without another word, Cove turned on his heel and started to walk away. Wait! He kept going. His focus wasn't on you anymore. What was that about? You watched as his back grew smaller and smaller. Then you realized that you were still standing in the middle of the sidewalk. You thought about your earlier plan of playing at the park. Suddenly it didn't seem as fun anymore. Not without Cove. But it wasn't like you could force him to play with you. He had things to do. You stayed there. You could play at the park some other time. It wasn't like it was going anywhere, and you couldn't bring yourself to leave like this.
You didn't move from your spot. You just continued to look on quietly. It didn't take long to realize that he was just going up the street. You were positive there was nothing good over there. Not the park, or the beach, or the store street, or his house, or anything. You hesitated, unsure if Cove would want to be bothered, before running after him anyway. He was new. He might not know what you did. You slowed down once he reached his side. He glanced at you from the corner of his eye and frowned. I have no idea, J-Dot. It's a good question, though. I am asking Chantel if she knows how long she'll be there. Hey, Grinchy. Go away, Jamie. But there's nothing up that way. Hey, Thallium. His mouth twisted further. He didn't appreciate your warning. I'm still going. Why? What are you doing? Walking. Steph, I don't imagine anyone here is playing this game. But why do you have to walk that way? Cove let out a deep sigh. You got the feeling that he was starting to get mad at you. I told you, I'm leaving. I'm going to be gone for a while. I still want to go with you. You can't. Thanks, J-Dot. Why not? Cove came to a sudden stop. You almost kept walking ahead of him because you weren't expecting him. My dad doesn't know. If you come, you'll get in trouble when he finds out. You felt the knot start to grow in your stomach. You're not supposed to be leaving? Of course not, he's 8. No X-Men games? Probably not. I don't imagine he'll be playing any X-Men games. Grinchy. His expression was grave. He shook his head. Dad isn't home right now. I left him a letter so he won't get confused when he gets back. But you can't tell anybody about this, okay? You can pretend you never saw me. Sure, J-Dot. You're all my favorites. Except Dandy. Fuck that dude. I still want to go. I don't care if I get in trouble. Don't do it all by yourself. Cove's hard expression wavered. You could tell that he hadn't expected you to say that.
Really?
You don't think it's a bad idea or something? Oh, it's a terrible idea. It might be a bad idea, but... His lips curved into a smile. Okay, you can come. Thanks, J-Dot. You grinned, pleased that he gave in so easily. You thought it might take longer since he was so set on going alone. You turned a bit in the middle of the sidewalk, and so did Cove when he saw it. You pointed over your shoulder with a thumb. Let's go to my house first. I can get my backpack. We can't, sorry. Don't I need one? It's not that. I don't want our parents to catch us. Your moms could think it's weird we have bags. They might ask. We don't have a lot of time anyway. He motioned to his backpack, patting it with his hand. Its front bulged out slightly.
It's okay.
Don't worry, I packed snacks. It'll be alright. You wished that you could bring your backpack along just to be safe, but his explanation made sense. Alright, we can leave. Cove smiled. He seemed to be in much better spirits than when you first ran into him. You were glad. He wasn't always this upbeat. That was fine, though. Otherwise he wouldn't be Cove. But you liked seeing him smile. Cove took the first step and you mirrored him. As one, both of you ran up the street. You were off into unknown territory. You ran through the first few neighborhoods like that, your feet pounding on concrete. Whenever one of you got tired, you'd take a break for a minute. The moment there was a sound, you'd be off again, in case someone you knew might realize what you were up to. Because of how cautious you were, the two of you didn't run into anyone, not even other kids enjoying their summer. It was like you had suddenly become criminals, always worried if someone was on your tail. Alright, J-Dot, I'll pass that along. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. As tense as it was, you were still glad when you got the opportunity to take a proper break. Cove waited for you to stop once you got out of the residential district. The houses disappeared, broad storefronts taking their place. You were all the way in the business part of town. This is the first time you'd come here on foot. Before, one of your moms had always drove you to this place in their car. Cove leaned up against a nearby tree and wiped sweat off his forehead. You braced your hands on your knees, breathing hard. You looked over at the road ahead. We're so far. A strange expression flickered across Cove's face at your words, before he nodded. You spoke again, still huffing. My mom's bring me and Lizzie here for shopping. Yeah, I've never been here before, not without Dad. He looked pleased by that. We're doing good. It's not even nighttime. You were still unsure. You thought it was right to have gone with Cove, but being so far from your neighborhood made you feel even more weird about what was happening. Clearly, Cove wanted to keep going. For how long, though? He couldn't want to keep walking forever. Cove slid his backpack off and unzipped it. You watched curiously as he stuffed a hand in and searched for something. To your delight, he pulled out 2 juice boxes and offered one to you. Here. Thanks, Cove. The two of you took a moment to unwrap the straws and poke them into the special circle part of the box. The juice was warm, but still good. You sighed contentedly after your first sip. Your throat was beginning to ache from how dry it had gone. It really had been a while since this all started. As you took another sip of your juice, your gaze drifted to Cove's bag. He hadn't closed it yet. What else is in there? There's still a few juice boxes left. He peered inside and began to list off the items as he swallowed them. I got some snacks from the kitchen, too. Chips, muffins, bananas, candy. Gesundheit, J-Dot. That was already a lot, but he kept excavating more. I also took a couple of clothes, a flashlight, a first aid kit for my dad's bathroom, and a blanket. Oh, and some money my dad gave me a while ago that I haven't spent yet. Your mouth made a small O halfway through his lengthy list. You brought a lot of stuff. I wouldn't have thought to grab a flashlight or first aid kit. I told you I was going away. You didn't know what to say to that. The little smile Cove had been wearing earlier was gone by now, like it had never been there in the first place. You watched as he zipped up his backpack and slipped it on. He started walking without a single glance over at you, though he did still take small, unhappy sips of his juice. For some time, the two of you went forward in complete silence. The more ground you covered, the more serious Cove seemed to become. He hadn't looked at you or said anything in a while. He'd just taken your empty juice box from you and stowed it away in his bag, that was it. You knew there had to be more to all this. The sun dislodged itself from its place in the sky, dipping lower and lower. The street lamps came on. It was as if they were anticipating nightfall. You tried to convince him to go back. Hey, Cove. Cove finally turned to look at you. You nearly chickened out, but managed to spit out the words. It's gonna be dark soon. We should head back. To your dismay, he scowled and shook his head immediately. I'm not going back. I can't. But what about your dad? He'll be fine. I left him a letter. If you want to leave, you can. I'm gonna keep going. There was no changing his mind, you realized. He was doing this with or without you. You gave in and kept walking with him. You wanted to go home, but not without Cove. Leaving him all alone would be much worse. Okay, I'm coming with you. His features softened the slightest bit in your response. You got the feeling he was relieved by your decision to stay. The two of you continued to trudge past the storefronts. Silence fell over you again. You had no idea how to break it or if you even wanted to. People had said this was a really tiny town, but to you it felt absolutely gigantic. Eventually, the business part of town ended too. There was no sidewalk anymore, only a long expanse of road. You walked on the grass instead.
Not even that was enough to stop it. Onward was the only option. Your journey stubbornly continued. The hunch you had about Cove's possible destination soon became a certainty. There was only one way out of town, after all. Your feet hurt, you were tired, the two of you didn't have any parents with you, but somehow you had reached the very edge of Sunset Bird. That's what the sign told you. You had lived in Sunset Bird forever, and it was a very rare occasion that you'd see this sign. Most everything in your life happened inside the city limits. The endless road ahead seemed scary in a way. It paralyzed you. You glanced at Cove. You had made it here just before nightfall, but now what? Outside of town, there was nothing. How would he get to where he wanted to go? Cove, however, didn't falter. He kept walking. As he neared the sign, he finally stopped. That was a relief. He took off his backpack and sat down, crossing his legs beneath him. You lowered yourself beside the boy as he zipped his bag open and rummaged through it again.
Whoa.
What snack do you want? You were almost taken aback by his voice. It had been a while since you last heard it. Pursing your lips, you recalled the snacks he'd listed off earlier. I want... banana. He pulled out a banana for you and a muffin for him. After passing you your food, he took a big bite out of the top of his muffin. You peered over at your friend. He stared at the path still ahead with a solemn expression. You turned away. The sun had set some time after you both finished eating. Now it was dark, apart from the faint moonlight. You watched as Cove grabbed the flashlight from his bag. What are we going to do? Sleep out here?
I guess.
He was speaking defensively again. Cove flicked the flashlight on. A beam of light cut through the darkness, weakly illuminating the area you sat in. You pulled your knees up to your chest, wrapping your arms around them. You weren't cold. Summer nights were still sort of warm. You just felt like it. Can I ask something? Cove's focus didn't waver from the road, but he nodded. Why do you want to leave Sunset Bird so bad? At first, Cove was quiet. You started to think he wouldn't say anything. Then he spoke. My mom called today, to check up on me and stuff. She asked what Sunset Bird was like and how I was doing. It was okay. But when I asked if she'll come here, Mom said she couldn't. I can't go back either. Not right now. She has to move somewhere else first. Cove glared around. Cove glared at the ground. His voice cracked as he continued.
It's not fair.
Why can't they even see her anymore? He used his uncasted arm to rub both of his eyes. I'm gonna go myself. I don't need anyone to take me. Hey, Billy. How are you gonna get to your mom's place? He just wanted to see his mom. Maybe you would have had the idea to run away too if you were Cove. But that doesn't mean it'll work. Thanks, Jamie. I'll walk there. I brought supplies. Isn't it really far? Cove was silent for a moment. You'd poked a hole in his perfect plan. Then he shook his head like he was trying to clear it. When he spoke some more, it was mostly to himself. If I don't go see Mom, then she's... Really? We're playing Our Life Beginnings and Always. Fresh tears glistened in Cove's red-rimmed eyes. He stubbornly tried to blink them away, but they slipped down his cheeks. You frowned at the sight. No matter what, you hated seeing him cry. Cove? Mom doesn't call that much, and I haven't seen her in so long. Cove hiccuped, wiping his face with the back of his arm. His glasses got shoved up awkwardly as a result. If I don't go, she'll be gone. She'll forget about me. She wouldn't do that. How do you know? She's your mom. She loves you. Your mom's always said that, so it must be true for Cove's mom, too. Cove sniffled. He seemed conflicted. I'm not sure if that's right. You were at a standstill. We can't stay here forever, and we can't go out there. Let's listen to before. Then we'll stay out here.
I'm not going to go back. His lower lip trembled at your declaration. Are you sure? You don't have to. You can still go home without me. You didn't leave a letter or anything. I'm sure. Thanks. The final part of his statement was whispered. You're always there when I think I'm going to be by myself. And that was that from him. The quiet resumed. It wasn't as awkward this time, or so you thought. You looked up at the sign, tracing the letters with your eyes over and over for a while. You weren't sure how much time passed. All you knew was that one moment you were letting your eyelids droop while huddling near Cove under the sign, and the next you were snapped back to attention by the blaring beep of a horn. Cove froze. You whipped around to see a car approaching you. It was difficult to make out who it was, the headlights were so blinding. Instead of continuing down the road, the car slowed near where you sat. The window rolled down, revealing the face behind the wheel. It was very familiar. Mom! She shouted back, and not just because there was some distance between you and her. What are you kids doing here? I've been looking everywhere for you. I'm sorry, Mom. She stopped looking at you, instead staring hard straight ahead. Both her hands were gripping the wheel. Guilt ate you up from the inside. Get in. Let's get you two home. That, at least, made her showing up worth it. Your feet were aching like crazy from all the walking you'd done today. You yanked open the side door, slipped inside the back seat, then clambered over so Cove had enough room to climb in too. He followed in wordlessly, tucking his backpack near his feet. Your mom looked at you and Cove from the rearview mirror. The two of you had us extremely worried. That wasn't a good thing to do. Not at all. Shamefaced, you both nodded as one.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mrs. Last. Sorry, Mom. She softened immediately. Not enough to actually let it go, though. You'll have to apologize to everyone else, too. With that, Mom started the car up again and you were off. For the rest of the car ride, no one said anything. You thought all of you were pretty tired. In fact, you must have dozed off at some point because you woke up to the sound of the engine stopping. When you opened your eyes, you realized Cove was looking over at you. He was tense. We're back. You yawned and got out of the car. Cove came out after, putting his backpack on again. Chicky nuggies? Mom locked the car door and motioned you two towards the house. She opened the front door and let you go in first. I would not, Dandy. I'm not attracted to men. Nook nooks. Mommy appeared quickly. She must have been waiting nearby. There was a phone in her hand. It worried you, thinking about who she might have been talking to. The tight line of her shoulders relaxed when she saw you and Cove. Oh, thank goodness. You found both of them. Yes, I did. They were at the actual end of town, right under the now leaving sign. What were you two doing there this time of night? Do you have any idea how far that is? How unsafe? You peeked at Cove. He still looked exhausted. His eyes were puffy and there were dried tear tracks stuck to his cheeks. I had to see my mom. Jamie didn't want me to go alone. Your own mom shared a look. You weren't sure what it meant, but they always did that. You wondered if they could read each other's minds. Mom and Mommy? Yep, Mom and Mommy, Queen Holly. Mom, Mommy. Mom with the, Mom is the white lady with brown hair. Mommy is the, darker skinned lady with the darker hair. Since they were communicating telepathically, you stole a glance around the house. Lizzie wasn't anywhere in sight. Where was she? She must have finished whatever she was doing that morning ages ago. Where's Lizzie? Your sister's in her room, fast asleep, the same way you should have been. She went out earlier to look for the two of you when she accidentally found out you were both missing. She tried to pretend otherwise, but you made her sick with worry. Said she checked all the hiding places she could think of, but couldn't find either of you. You and Cove exchanged remorseful glances at that. Mommy noticed the discomfort.
Okay.
You two must be sleepy. You can sit down wherever you like. Mommy smiled warmly and motioned to the living room. Cove looked up at her, then lumbered over. You followed close behind. The living room wasn't far, or separated by a wall, so you heard your moms talking softly. He wanted to go see his mother. Poor thing.
Well...
That explains it, at least. Still, I'm not sure it excuses it. It was so dangerous to go off into town like that. Thanks, Oogie Boogie, I try. He's having a hard time right now. You can't expect a child to handle it maturely. True, can't be helped. But that's enough of that. We should tell Cliff and the others that he's here before the panic gets out of hand. There could be riots. Don't look so happy when you say there could be riots, Mom. Jeez, just big evil grin at the thought that there could be riots.
Is that all right?
I'll call them, then go to the front to tell everyone still out there. You keep an eye on the kids. Make sure they don't take any more trips today. Got it, hon. Cove just sat there on the couch, setting his backpack down beside him. He stared at his hands. This is so weird. What is? Everyone was looking for me. They all know I tried to leave. I kind of want to run away and not come back this time so I don't have to see them again. Please never run away again. Cove looked guilty for even suggesting that, despite it not being serious. Piss on the sheet. Maybe you should do that next time one of the cats leaves a poop outside the litter box. I won't. Not for real. When it seemed silence would descend upon the two of you again, the front door opened. Your mom was back, with Mr. Holden close behind her. He made a beeline for the couch, his gaze trained on his son.
Cove?
God, are you alright? Strands of his hair had fallen out of his ponytail. His eyes were darkened, like he'd been crying too. Cove stared up at his dad, his own eyes wide behind the frames of his glasses. He really hadn't expected it to be such a big deal. I'm okay. Good. That's good. I'm so glad to hear that. He clasped a hand on his son's shoulder, attempting a smile, but the corners of his lips twitched and spasmed as if they wanted to wilt into a frown instead. Cove seemed to have that effect on him. Mr. Holden turned to you, still smiling weakly. I'm so happy you're alright too, Jamie. Then he looked at your moms. Thanks for your help, as always. He laughed pitifully.
I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry for ruining your afternoon with this. I can't apologize enough.
It's okay.
It was no trouble, Cliff. Really. It couldn't be helped in a way. Something was bound to happen sometime. I tried, Oogie. Ponytails are hard to manage when crying. I will take your word on that, Billy. Besides, he wasn't the only one who decided it was a good idea to disappear today. Exactly. We're just happy the kids are safe and sound. Not for the first time that day, you recalled your original meeting with Cove. He had run away then, too, only not as far as he had today. Cove must have had a similar thought because he mumbled an apology. Sorry, Dad. I won't leave anymore. Promise. Some life seemed to return to Mr. Holden thanks to his promise. This time around, his smile was more
I'm
genuine.
so glad.
That's a relief to hear. Next time you feel like running off, come to me first, okay? We can talk about it. I'm here for you. Cove nodded. His dad reached out and mussed his hair playfully. Although he made a face, Cove didn't try to dodge the hand as he usually did. Let's go home, bud. I bet you're as tired as I am. Mr. Holden took over carrying Cove's backpack, still clasping a free hand on his son's shoulder when he stood up from the couch. Read you a bedtime story? Some other time, Melanie. The five of you walked over to the front door so you could see them off. Mr. Holden thanked your moms profusely at least 3 more times before he walked out the door. Cove was made to follow. But he stopped and turned to you before stepping through the threshold. I do not wear suits. I've never worn suits, Queen Holly.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jamie. You're welcome. A tiny smile flitted across his lips, there and then gone. You hugged him. Before he was gone, you reached over to give him a hug goodbye after a hard day. He held you back more tightly than you could have anticipated, and you almost squeaked out a noise. I'm glad you're here. His embrace was tight but brief. He let go as soon as he said what he wanted to. And with that, Cove left. Mommy closed the door behind him. You were practically dead on your feet at that point. Your fatigue must have been obvious, because your mom sent you right to bed with no more discussion on what happened that day. Once your head hit the pillow, your eyes flipped closed on their own. Your eyelids were so heavy you couldn't open them again until the next morning. You woke up much more at ease than you had felt when you were last conscious. It was almost like it was a dream.
but it definitely wasn't. Your mom's faces when you saw them assured that. After breakfast, you were sat down and your family went over yesterday's events in full. They were none too pleased that you joined Cove despite knowing that he wanted to leave. As punishment, your mom took away your TV privileges for the next few days. Lizzie was annoyed that she couldn't watch her shows with you around, but she adjusted. Hey, Native! Whenever you expressed disappointment, your moms reminded you that they weren't punishing you for no reason. It was dangerous to go out on your own so late, and without telling anyone. You could have gotten hurt, or worse. As upset as you were, you understood. Mr. Holden talked to Cove about what happened too. You didn't know what was said exactly, but Mr. Holden forgave Cove immediately. He didn't do anything to punish Cove for running away. He blamed no one but himself for Cove's desire to leave home. Aw. You caught your moms discussing it once in hushed tones, frowning at each other. It was pretty serious. There was a word you used you hadn't heard before, self-flagellation. But there wasn't anything they could do to change Mr. Holden's mind. Your neighbors stopped you and Cove often for the next week or so, to express their concerns and disapproval of the event. Oh, knock it off, people. Still, as they always did, days continued to pass. So did talk about Cove running away. Things eventually returned to normal as they had to. Summer kept going, and you kept having experiences you shared with Cove. Alright. No, Icky, this was a smoothie. For some reason, I could have sworn there was a way to change your character gender. Alright. It was a strawberry banana smoothie, Hamburger Eyes. And Bet Billy. Strawberry banana smoothie, which is, it's finished now. Nice whiskey, nice. Okay, so that'll do for this episode. 2 hours. Been at this for 2 hours, so that's enough for this one. And next time I play, I'll finish up. The next time I'll finish up this youth, this age. So we're almost done with being 8 years old. 6 hours. That's a bit long for me, Icky. Let's finish it tonight. Nah, I feel like 2 hours is good for a... sorry, Melanie. I feel like 2 hours is really good for video game streaming. Longer than that is just too long. Wait, no, like, no. Games, you start at 8 years old in this game. So... What am I going to do for the rest of the night? I don't know. Streamers do 24-hour plays. That there is a temptation of that, Icky. I am tempted to do a 24-hour stream at some point. Yeah, it's one of those things that might be... I mean, it wouldn't be fun. It would be horrible. It'd be a terrible thing to do. I'd hate it. I would hate to do a 24-hour stream. But there is some temptation at some point to do a 24-hour stream. 10k sub? Probably not then. Yeah, so as far as what I'll do for the rest of the night, yeah, I'll probably just do some stuff. I'll just do things for the rest of the night. Probably end up playing Mass Effect. Probably end up recording some more Mass Effect 3. Show us cats. Give me a minute.
Kitties. Any cats around? You want a cat? Alright. You want a cat? Speaking of cats, I actually need to feed her. She's a bit... I totally blanked. It's probably a little bit late. 10 o'clock, I should have fed her like a couple hours ago. I just realized that I actually should have fed her a couple hours ago. So I am going to go feed this, this loser. Oh, sorry, Casey. And, yeah, so I will have a regular live again tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow just for, regular Sunday night stuff. For now, thanks for joining me for this. And see you tomorrow.